Abakka Chauta, 16th century. Suddenly, 16th century, you see a proliferation of Viranganas happening. Alright? I want to start off saying that Virangana as a category is very specific to a timeline and came about for a very specific reason.
If the literary book element is there in this Festival of Arts and Ideas, a lot of credit and drive goes to her. So welcome Nandhini, and always a pleasure to talk to you, and I like to talk to you because I'm so relaxed. I just don't have the stress. So
thank you, Alut, and always a pleasure being here because this is home, and it's fun to talk to a friend and fun to talk to a fellow book lover.
So your title has the word Virangana. So does that mean female warrior? Would you like to, is the definition that simple, or do you want to specify that?
So I want to start off saying that Virangana as a category is very specific to a timeline and came about for a very specific reason. Okay? To explain that, can I just take very quickly 2 minutes of the audience time to show a set of Viranganas. We have a slide here, and you may wonder why she giving us, a set of Virangana slides. The reason I'm going to show these slides is because it gives you a timeline. And the slides, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. This is off the top of my head. I've just come up with this list. But 16, 17, 20 odd names. But look at the timelines. This is the interesting part of it. So we start with, can we go back? The slide, can we go back? Yeah, okay. So we start with Surya Devi. Okay, Surya Devi was the daughter of King Dahir, and she is associated with the first Islamic invasion in India, in which the Indian resistance failed. So this is the Battle of Sindh, or the Battle of Akkad, and there are 3 women associated with this attack. We've just got Surya Devi's picture here, but there are 3 women who were part of the attack. The first was King Dahir's sister Rani Bai, who went and attacked Muhammad bin Qasim's forces, and when she was defeated, she comes back and immolates herself. This is not sati. She just self-immolates. Then when Sindh falls, Surya Devi and Parmal Devi go and take terrible revenge on Muhammad bin Qasim by using the caliph against him. This is all mentioned in the Chachnama. I'm not making it up. It's like all primary source driven. So this is our first Virangana. Alright? The timeline, please listen to the timeline. It is late 7th century CE. Alright? 671, 70, something like that. Okay. Now let's see when we get the next Virangana. The next Virangana is Nayaki Devi. She is a Chalukya queen. Who does she fight against? She fights against Ghori. This is 12th century, mid-12th century. So between 7th century and 12th century, we don't see any Viranganas. Okay, there are none. There are warrior queens. There are very good, capable regents, but we don't see a Virangana. Our next Virangana is Nayaki Devi, the Chalukya princess, takes on Ghori, wins, and that is mid-12th century. Let's see when the next Virangana comes. Kurma Devi. Kurma Devi of Chittor. She is the wife of Samar Singh. This is again 12th century. We will of course see as we go down this list that there are several women of Chittor who pop up on this list of Virangana, and there's a reason why, which we shall discuss as we go along. So Kurma Devi of Chittor, wife of Samar Singh, late 12th century, takes on home Naibak. Okay, let's see who's next. Rudrama Devi, she is a Deccani queen, that is 13th century. Then Tarabai Solanki, we don't have a picture here. Tarabai Solanki, who's the wife of Prithviraj Sisodia. This is late 15th century. Alright, she fought against the Afghans and won, by the way. Then, sorry. Johar Bai. We've all heard of Rana Sanga. We don't hear that much about his widow, Johar Bai, who went and fought against Bahadur Shah of Gujarat. Alright? Next. My favorite, Rani Durgavati. Gold Queen Rani Durgavati fought and gave her life in her fight against Akbar, 16th century. Now suddenly in 16th century, so you remember between 7th century and 12th century there are no Virangana. 12th century we have some, 13th century we have some, then look at what happens in the 16th century. There is Rani Durgavati, there is Johar Bai, there is Chand Bibi, who by the way is a Muslim Virangana. Again, fought against whom? Our dear Jalal, Mr. Akbar. Okay, let's see another one. Rani Bhavashankari of Bhurishrestha. Again, 16th century. Fought against the Afghans. And she fought so well that Man Singh, who was Akbar's general, called her Rai Bagini, Royal Bengal Tigress. We don't hear about her. Abakka Chauta, 16th century. Suddenly, 16th century, you see a proliferation of Viranganas happening. Alright? Then we have Rani Karnavati of Garhwal, who gave Shah Jahan a bare-knuckled response when he tried to take over her kingdom. So this is 17th century. Then of course you have Rani Tarabai Bhosle, the Maratha queen who was responsible for defeating Aurangzeb, bringing to an end his 25-year-old battle against the Marathas. Tarabai Bhosle. Then we jump a little bit, another 50-60 years. 1857 we see Manikarnika Rani Lakshmibai or Jhansi. Alongside her, lesser known, is another Muslim Virangana. Her name is Begum Hazrat Mahal. Alright? Hazrat Mahal. She was very much part of the 1857 uprising. Nobody knows about her. And then of course we come to India's freedom struggle, all the Viranganas who were part of that. I'm just randomly mentioning a couple of names. There are so many, it will take us entire days, to talk about them. But people like Priti Lata Vadedar, people like Matungini Hazra, all the women who were part of the Chittagong Armory raid, people like Captain Lakshmi Sehgal, who was part of Netaji's Asianet. All of these Viranganas are following that same tradition. We are stopping at 1947 because, for the sake of sanity, otherwise we can continue because the Virangana tradition is by no means over. But the point I'm trying to make is between 1247 and 1947, 1147 and 1947, 800 years, we suddenly have a profusion of Viranganas. So the Virangana concept is specific to the medieval era in India. And there is a reason for that, and which we shall discuss.
So you see, I know many of you are saying, no, but Kaikeyi was with Dasharath in the battle, and what about Chitrangada, and what about the other, we've just spoken about the epics. Now, what is it that distinguishes your definition, this definition of the Virangana, with warriors female? There is a distinction.
So the female warrior tradition in India is very, very old. You've just mentioned Kaikeyi, but there are so many others. There's Chitrangada, who actually defeats Arjuna. There is Ulupi, there is Avishi, who's mentioned in the Rig Veda. There's of course Kaikeyi, there's Satyabhama in the Narakasur episode, and so on. So it's a very established tradition, but also there is, apart from the warrior queens themselves, there is this concept of righteous rage. You have that, you can see Kannagi, for instance. The rage is so powerful that it can bring down and make a change in the established political order. So you have Kannagi, you have Draupadi, both of them, exemplify righteous rage. But that's not a Virangana. A Virangana is a symbol of resistance. A warrior queen is somebody who goes and fights for whatever reasons. It can be a political reason, it can be a romantic reason, it can be a spiritual reason, moral, ethical reason. But a Virangana is a person who fights for her dharma. When her dharma is under attack. It's a very different, it's an incipient segment. You don't see that in ancient India because there was no attack on the dharma. You see, the attack on the dharma starts with the battle of starts with the battle of sin. And at that point when our life, way of life, our faith was under attack from a foreign force, invading force, that's when the Virangana comes to the fore.
So you must make the distinction between